It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
The Health in the Real World podcast is sponsored by...
You ever notice that life just seems to go by so fast, and before you know it, a new calendar year starts? We don't even seem to be any closer to our goals. And even worse, it seems like every time we focus on one goal, others slip through our fingers. This is a journal I made that is extremely simple to use, creating a game worth winning. It's a paper journal that you write in, old school style, yes, just like the 20th century, creating a game worth winning, a journal to design and implement your goals with money, health, organization, and time management, available at Amazon. Hello and welcome to Health in the Real World. I'm Chris Janke, and I'm joined today by Luca Gatti. He is a certified hypnotherapist and personal coach, life coach. He helps people to reach their personal fulfillment and to understand their true purpose through their core values and alignment, which enables them to really live their life that they were meant to live. Luca, thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate you being on.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
So I always like starting with how you got into what you're doing. Is there a story behind that? How did you get into becoming this life coach and hypnotherapist?
I got into it as almost like a client. I was doing the work on myself first. Especially when I realized that my health wasn't there, psychologically, spiritually, also I wasn't there. I was a little bit lost. And one of my occupational therapists actually said, maybe, you can change things around. It doesn't have to be that way. So I thought, okay, I'll start doing the work, changing things around, adapting myself to my new self and my new health, and changing my surroundings as well. And hypnotherapy was one of the things that helped me the most, coaching as well. So I thought I would be a coach as well and help other people as well doing change.
That's great. Sometimes people who are now where you used to be will find some comfort knowing that you have dealt with some of these issues too. Were there specific problems that kept coming up in your life, or specific issues that you just couldn't get around? And what were those, and how did you get around those?
I think like everybody else is just, things pile up, and at some point you can't take it anymore. We have busy lives, we have social media, we have families and jobs and all of that, and we all have to keep up with it. And sometimes we forget to keep up with ourselves and what we really need. And that's a common mistake. Everybody makes it every now and then. So to actually do the opposite and put yourself first, not to be selfish, but to just make sure that your needs are covered. And then help everybody else around you. It's a lot healthier for you and for your community and for the people around you.
Yeah, definitely. What do you have some daily habits that help you to satisfy those needs? I know the draw of social media is very enticing a lot of times. You mentioned that already. What about, are there daily habits that you do that make sure that you fill yourself up as well?
First of all, social media, I try not to think about it too much. It's there. I use it when I need it. I use it when I want to. I do not glue myself to the phone all day like I used to. I realized that actually that's very unhelpful. Your real friendships do not actually benefit from your social media all the time when you're talking more on the phone than talking to them. Same with family and people around you. Something I already also do daily is a little bit of exercise. That's because I need it for my health, like everybody. And a lot of the time I sit at the desk all day and then I realize, I forgot to do the exercises today, and you really feel it the next day when your back aches and stuff like that. So that's really important. That's one of the other things I do daily. And I just drink a lot of water, make sure that all my needs are covered, and that's it. Stay in touch with the family, with friends, take a break every now and then, enjoy the sunshine, stuff like that.
Great. Yeah, all the basic and very simple to do, right? It's just a matter of doing them. So as far as being a hypnotherapist, so I think a lot of people are getting to know what a hypnotherapist does, but if you could just describe it in your own words as far as what the process might look like. Somebody comes into you, maybe they're stressed out, or a whole host of other things that are associated with our modern lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
What is the I know there are two parts, right? There's the certified hypnotherapist and your personal coach. What are those two parts? What do they look like as you're guiding people through their transformation, revelation, whatever word you want to use, like their transition into being in a better place? What does that look like?
Sorry, you froze.
Oh, there we go. You're unfrozen now. Okay.
Okay.
So one more time, we're going, just like, what does the process look like when you're working with somebody?
Well, the process is really, it starts with a chat. It couldn't be simpler. And all I do is ask simple questions, and I just watch a language, try to understand what is going on with you. And that is it, really. Hypnotherapy, sometimes people think, oh my God, I'm going to lose control and stuff like that. But actually, it's not like that at all. It's a very simple process. It feels a lot more like relaxation, meditation. It's almost like listening to a story. It's not really, you're not going to do anything silly if you don't want to. And beside that, if it's for therapy, there's no purpose on doing silly things. So it's not going to help making you, asking you to be a chicken. No one is going to ask you that if it's a therapist. And the coaching part is really just finding your strength and nurture that, and make sure that you're set towards your goal. So you just face your goals, and I'm there to guide you and push you. That's all it is. A little bit like a personal trainer. Mm-hmm. I find out what you need. I find out what your strengths are, and then I just support you. That's what it is.
Yeah. And that's great. And then you sit down with the client and you're getting on the same page with them, with their goals, their vision, their values. And I love how you even say that. You say understand their true purpose through their core values and alignment. I think what I started thinking of when I read that was there are so many of us that sort of default to the goals of society, right? You need to become a multimillionaire, mm-hmm. or you need to marry this person or drive this car or whatever the goals are. And I think it's very easy to get caught up in that. And I think social media is potentially, it doesn't have to be, but potentially a huge purveyor of those myths. You see like the extremely low body fat trainer and they're there looking all good. You see the cars, you see the houses, you see all that. And so I think a lot of times we think, oh, I'm supposed to want those things too. And I really like that, the core values and alignment. Talk a little bit about core values, what that means, and how you can help draw those core values out of somebody to discover what they really want.
So the process of understanding the core values starts with a talk. I might ask you what you think your core values are. So we kind of have a starting point. Because like you said, a lot of the time we think we value things, but actually we just value them because someone else told us that that's what you need to be, what you need to want in your life. You know, you might need to, you might want to be a millionaire just because it seems cool to be a millionaire, and because society demands you to actually have some kind of status or something. In real life, you might not want to, you might not be fulfilled by money. You might be fulfilled by maybe giving, you know, maybe something else. So I try to understand what you think your core values are. And a lot of the time, people have some good values, but a lot of the time people have also values that are taught, you know, they've been taught by family that you have to love your family, be a good worker, have a good job, go to university, things like that. And sometimes society asks you to be something else, you know, to look gorgeous, super slim or muscular, or to have a really hot, beautiful car or something like that. And yes, those are good things, but they might not be your real values. So the process is we eliminate what actually isn't your true core values, and then I have several processes to understand. Actually, I sometimes I use more than one process just to double check that the same values come up, just to make sure that we're working with the right set of values. Then after that, the process is to just put them in order, and realizing what is the biggest value, what is the thing that drives you the most, what is giving you more energy, more excitement, and more fulfillment. One of my clients actually have done that to the extreme. She realized that core value, the most important core value for her, was excitement. So she decided to make everything exciting in her life. And she wouldn't do something if it wasn't exciting for her. And she decided to actually find ways to make things that she needed to do or wanted to do exciting for her. And she completely changed her life. So that is one of the coolest things when actually people take it to the next level and actually are themselves. They feel fulfilled completely. They feel happy, and you can see them every time on social media. You can see them posting about new things, new challenges, they just completely change, and that's really cool.
That is really cool. That it's funny. That was going to be my next question. Like, what does it look like when somebody figures out what are their core values? So I want to go down this little rabbit hole with this client of yours. She wanted to do things that were exciting. Excitement was a core value. Mm-hmm. So did she even like turn things that maybe she needed to do to reach her goals, but they were a little mundane? Did she, figure out a way to make those exciting, or did she just completely say, nope, I'm not even going to do that, go another
Absolutely.
direction?
She didn't. Okay. So first of all, she thought her biggest value was that she had to be rich and she was valuing money. Actually, she realized that she couldn't care less about that. That's something cool that she wants to do, and it might enable her to do some exciting things, but it's not really the most important thing for her. So she wanted to be healthier. She wanted to find love. She wanted to live somewhere where she had a community. So that's exactly what she did. We came up with ideas to make her diet exciting. So healthy food, make it colorful, make it exciting, change shape of the things cut things in different ways every time, cook them in a different way every time, keep things exciting every time. And that will keep you, coming back to those healthy things. She wanted a community. She moved to a different place. She wanted to live near the sea. She moved to an island, and she found a beautiful community there. And she found the love of her life. And obviously she had to try different things. She didn't just happen to know exactly what the next step was, but actually she did all of these things, and she wasn't afraid because she knew what was looking for at that point.
Yeah, she was looking for that excitement, right? That's great. And as you're talking, I'm thinking that's really how the brain works, right? Like we're wired for certain things, and we get rewards for following what we're wired for. And her brain really wanted that excitement. Exactly. I know and that's not everybody, right? So if somebody listening to this, if excitement is not your value, you might be sitting there like, oh, that doesn't sound very fun, because excitement's not your value. But I think the moral of this story is that you help people uncover their true values, where she thought it was making money, getting rich. In reality, she just wanted some excitement in her life. Let's go maybe one more example of another client, maybe a different core value, so that we could just to kind of illustrate that it doesn't have to be just excitement. There can be another core value that maybe you can dig up.
Well, let's see. I had another client, for example, and this client realized that family was his top core value. He just wanted to be united with family, wanted to be truthful to his family. He wanted to be also build some sort of like community. So not just relatives, but also friends become part of the family as well, and things like that. This one is not really a happy ending story, because at the end of the sessions, he decided that actually he didn't want to align with those values. So you see, clients sometimes have decide that they don't want to go ahead with that, and he decided to do other things with his life. He stayed with the ideas he had, and that's completely fine. I'm not gonna make anybody do something they don't want to do. So everyone's got a free choice, but at least he knows exactly what he wants from life. And he knows that if he wants to go after it, he can now.
Right. That is a great lesson. And he made that decision. And I think that's a great thing that you're saying. You're a coach, but you're not going to do things for your clients. You help them discover, but ultimately it's them that needs to take the steps. So, Luca, I want to ask you, I like wrapping up the show with giving you the opportunity to go really big picture. So let's say you're the presenter at a business conference, or maybe you're the speaker at a graduation ceremony, and your topic is how I think you can get the most out of your life. What types of principles would you impart with those people who are listening to you?
My personal ones?
Yeah.
Connection is one of them. I love connection. I crave connection. So I think if I was presenting or doing a talk or something, I would be kind of like Oprah. I love to have deep talks. I love to connect with people. I love honesty and sincerity and vulnerability. But I also love, to motivate and support someone and cheer for them when they're doing something great. And just, share those moments. I think it's beautiful to share.
Yeah, that's great. And that's one of the reasons why I started this podcast in the first place. You said you're in England, right?
Yes.
And, I'm in California, and we're kind of halfway across the world from each other, yet we're able to connect and share ideas and, meet each other. and create that win-win situation. I'm a big fan of that. So, Luca, how do people listening or watching, how do they get in touch with you if they want to ask you a question or if they want to work with you? How do people contact you?
Well, I think the easiest way is to go to lucamindcoach.com, and you can find all the contacts there. You can also find my social media there. My LinkedIn is there. I'm on Luca Mind Coach on all social media as well. So that is the easiest way, is just to Google Luca Mind Coach, and I'll come up.
Perfect. That makes it very easy. Well, everybody watching, thank you so much for tuning in, for watching the Health in the Real World podcast. This is Chris Janke, joined today by Luca Gatti, certified hypnotherapist and personal coach. Luca, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate meeting you, and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.